Jackie Dean.
Well, thank you, Mr Chair, for the opportunity to speak on the work of the Department of Conservation. And there are some pretty notable successes down in the Otago region. My colleague has just talked about the Royal Albatross Colony and the ongoing work of the Department of Conservation, both in species management and protection, but also allowing the public of New Zealand to have access to what is pretty special and precious to us in New Zealand. And as Nicky Wagner did say, with the Royal Albatross Colony, it went from one egg, and back in the 30s, I believe it was, people used to throw stones at the albatross because, you know, people were people back then. But these days, it is a colony which is well protected and enhanced, and you can all go and see it. It's managed by the Department of Conservation and the Otago Peninsula Trust. And what it means is that New Zealanders and visitors to our country alike can go and visit the Royal Albatross without disturbing them. And of course, this has become a major tourist attraction for Dunedin. So too has the Little Blue Penguin Colony in Oamaru, and what was 15 years ago almost known as a pest. The little blue penguins used to cross the road and get run over by the milk truck and the bread truck, and nobody particularly cared. And then one woman, Lorraine Adams, saw that they were indeed special, and she was the one who initiated, along with the Department of Conservation, the Little Blue Penguin Colony in Oamaru. And here we are 15 years later, and the town, rather than just being a place to stop and fill up with gas and buy an ice cream maybe on your way to somewhere else, has become a destination. And a lot of that has to go down to the work not only to people like Lorraine Adams and the various trusts which start looking after these animals, but also to the Department of Conservation, because they, on the ground, take a great deal of care and a lot of interest in the development of both the species management and protection. They can identify what needs to be done, but also enthusiastically enabling those colonies to be made available and accessible to the general public. There are 3 yellow-eyed penguin colonies along the Otago coast, and again, they are maintained, and that species is protected and enhanced by the work of the Department of Conservation. Again, with a weather eye into how can we make what is precious to us in New Zealand available to other New Zealanders and also visitors around the world. I want to move on to something slightly different, because this is another role that DOC have been very successful in and continue to be so. And that is not so much about species management, but in their involvement with the Central Otago Rail Trail. And the success story of the Central Otago Rail Trail cannot be underestimated. The benefit to the national economy, because it is now an international tourism destination, but to many of us in this House have either cycled a stage or a leg of the rail trail, or indeed done the whole thing if they're lucky enough, will have made a wonderful contribution to the economy of Middlemarch or of Clyde, and I thank them for that. And the last figures I read, and they may well have increased by now, around $7 million goes into the local Central Otago community because of DOC's involvement in the Central Otago Rail Trail. And it's people like Robin Thompson, who's the area manager for the Department of Conservation, who have that commitment and that foresight to get involved in that kind of initiative, which has spin-offs not only to the local species in the area in terms of their protection and development, but also that economic spin-off. And that is incredibly important to this government, is to recognise that our natural heritage and those things which are precious to us can go hand in hand with economic development. And I think the rail trail is a spectacular example of how those two things can, should and do go hand in hand. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Right, I shall put the question, which is that the report on the Local Government Environment Committee on the 2010-11 financial review of the Department of Conservation be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary, no. The ayes have it. There is one further question, and then there's another question, and this is, as this is a timed debate and there's 7 seconds going, I think I shall just proceed. So the question is that the report of the Transport and Industrial Relations Committee on the 2010-11 financial review of the Department of Labour be noted. Those of that opinion will say aye. The contrary opinion will say no. The ayes have it. And now we have the question in relation to clauses 1 to 10 and schedules 1 to 7. The question is that they stand part. Those of that opinion will say aye. Contrary no. The ayes have it. I will report the Appropriation 2010-11 Financial Review Bill without amendment.
Members, the House is resumed. Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Speaker, the committee has considered the Appropriation 2010-11 Financial Review Bill and reports it without amendment. Mr. Speaker, I move that the report be adopted.
The question is that the report be adopted. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. Ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party. Votes opposed. New Zealand First.
8 votes opposed.
Maori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana. 1 vote opposed. ACT New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Any other votes?
Members, the ayes are 64, the noes are 57. The report is adopted. This bill is set down for third reading forthwith. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister.
Point of order. David.
Speaker, I seek leave of the House to make a statement of explanation to clarify a matter, a personal matter that I spoke of in the question time today.
Could that happen after I've just put this motion? If I can just put the motion, it finishes this, and I'm happy to accept or put leave in a moment. The Honourable Paula Bennett.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister of Finance, I move that the Appropriation 2010-11 Financial Review Bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the motion be agreed to. Those of that opinion will say aye. To the contrary, no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Party votes called for. I'll ask the clerk for a party vote.
New Zealand National.
59 votes in favour.
New Zealand Labour.
34 votes opposed.
Green Party.
14 votes opposed.
New Zealand First.
8 votes.
Maori Party.
3 votes in favour.
Mana.
1 vote opposed.
ACT New Zealand.
1 in favour.
United Future.
1 in favour.
Members, the ayes are 64, the noes are 57. The motion is agreed to.
Appropriation 2010-11 Financial Review Bill, third reading.
Speaker, I seek leave of the House to make a statement of personal explanation to clarify